There we
Oh,
go. Oh, hello.
cool.
We've already
But
done our introductions and I have Dougie, so we're gonna get interrupted. But first of all, I just wanna punch myself. Dougie, it's fine. Welcome. Welcome to Love in the Morning, but it's actually Love in the Evening, but it is morning. Are we
there
okay?
you go. We'll take it anyway, right? Take the love any way you can get it.
Yeah, that's right. And mourning as in grieving, play on words. So this is my friend, everyone, my friend Sue. And Sue, gosh, Sue, we met a year ago.
Mm, yeah, right about now.
hmm A year ago, early days, early days.
Very, very early days for me. Yes. I think I attended your grief over dinner in June, and I
Yeah.
had lost my husband in April.
Yes. And I remember us emailing back and forth. And you're like,
Mhm.
I don't know. But I said, you know what? Doors open. You
Yeah.
come if you feel like you can make it, and you showed up, and it was a beautiful exchange. And right off the hop, I knew we were going to be friends just because I think you might have said fuck, or you said bullshit. I'm not sure which, or it's something. And I went, yep.
Probably both. Probably both. Multiple times.
Yes, yes. So there will be a little bit of swearing in this, I'm sure, but we only swear if we need to. And my mug
Correct.
actually says
Hmm.
I brought
Yep.
out, this is old school. It's one of the only I had so many mugs with the word fuck on it that I really had to go through my stuff because my sister is moving in, and I had to look at
Right.
what I had to purge. So I donated a whole bunch of sweary mugs to Goodwill. So they're out there for all the world to use as they need to. But
I mean, I think you're doing a service to the community, frankly, but
yeah, right? It's like everybody needs, well, I think everybody needs a good cup with a good swear word on it. Okay, Dougie,
agreed.
stop. Dougie, many of you know I have a corgi, and I just fed him. And we've been in the office all day, so I knew this was risky. But anyway, so Sue, I just
Hmm.
want to kind of how I would describe you is you are a very independent, strong, gifted human being. Um,
Hmm.
who has a full-time job. It's a stressful job, actually. Um, your mom, your grandma, your
I
sister,
am.
and you are a friend, and you are a loving, grieving wife who is now called widow.
Yes.
And I just, as we start this, how does that make you feel when I say,
Right up until the widow part, good.
yeah,
That term, it still gets me. Um, I received a piece of mail this week, and there was a little checkbox, and I'm like, don't like that checkbox.
oh,
And yeah, it's been over a year, but I don't consider myself a widow, which is really wild. We were together almost 40 years.
mhm.
So in my mind, I'm still his wife. I'm still Dexter's wife. I will always be Dexter's wife. And you can put whatever check mark box you want on any paper, but I am still his wife. I am still married. And I don't know why we use that term. I guess for tax purposes,
Yeah,
like it's going to help. I don't
okay.
know.
I remember, and you know what? I feel very much the same. And there's probably someone else out there who can relate to this. I remember going to the dentist and having to fill out a form,
Hmm.
and the form was just a second. Oh, Douglas. The form was it was just an update, and I thought it asks you Mrs.,
Hmm.
Mr.,
Hmm.
Lord Lady,
Ms.
Miss Lord Lady,
Queen of the household.
and then it had widow at the
Yeah.
bottom. And I'm like, it was a gut punch, and I'm like, I didn't even click into what it meant. I didn't care. I just checked off
Mhm.
misses. And this
Mhm.
time it was like, why do they need to know I'm a widow? What does that
You don't.
have to do with my teeth? And
No.
it was, and so, you know what I fill out now? I just, I say Ms. because I know because of tax purposes or whatever. I'm like, I'm Mrs. Powell. I like,
Yeah.
that's how I go, but I'm Kathie Powell.
Yeah.
I'm not changing my last name. So I think you're right. It probably has much to do with the taxes, but it's also, in the eyes of the law, we're not married anymore,
I know.
which is like a gut punch in itself.
I don't know, this could be political, but to me, you should have a choice. You
Yeah.
should choose. And if I want to, have a tax implication, then so be it. I don't know. It's so dark. It's a dark word. I know you talk about describing what you're feeling and describing your grief. And I would say that word to me is dark. It's
Yeah, that's
cold.
beautiful. That's a beautiful description. And I think that it is. And in the onset of this moment in time for us, there's so much shit we have to go through. There's so
Oh
much
God.
paperwork. There's so much. You've got to send in death certificates. You got to have proof. You got to do all of that. You got to take them off this, and it's like you're erasing them. And then the final actual jab is widow.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I agree with you. And it's everywhere. Other mail that came yesterday, my car insurance and my house insurance are up for renewal, both with the same company.
uh-huh,
Car insurance, I advised them he had passed to get
yeah,
him off the policy, obviously, and to update the policy.
yeah.
But I didn't for the house insurance, didn't think about it. So the house insurance came in both names, car insurance came in my name. And I don't know about you, but when I see a piece of mail with his name
Oh,
on it, it takes my breath.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's not fear, it's
Mm-mm.
not anger. Somehow it's a surprise. I don't know what it is.
No, I know. It's like and I still get it. It's usually junk mail
Mm,
now, but mostly because I'm 2 years and 3 months into this journey, and um, I don't get a lot. But my direct energy bill comes to my email. I pay it. I've let them know that he has died, but it still goes, John.
yeah.
Hi, John. And I'm like,
Hmm.
every freaking time. And
Yeah.
in a way, like I have to say, initially, it was very, I think I got mad. I don't lie
Hmm.
about that. I think I got mad because I'm like, how many times do I have to go through this and tell people? And then I went, fuck it. Say hi, John. I get to see his
Yeah.
name. Okay, yeah, sure. I've decided, yes, Dougie. I've decided to just roll with it. I'm like, I'm not going to get mad. It's a automated glitch in the system, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really care if it's John or me. It's it doesn't have any feelings attached. But
You
I,
just touched on something else too, though, that I think is important to share. How many times did you call and tell them? How many times did you, the phone calls that we make
Mhm.
and the conversations that you have to say it over and over and over again, um, those were ridiculously difficult.
Yeah,
It was, and I had a whole list because
mhm,
I'm a little organized. Had a
yeah,
whole list of everybody I need to call, everything I need to do. And I remember every time picking up the phone to dial, I was just like,
mhm,
okay, one more time. And it's almost like you feel like you just wish you could send out an email blast and just say to everybody that this concerns, I'm
yeah,
telling you once, I'm not telling you twice. And it's like the service providers, like you said, I had one as well that I went through months of agony trying to sort out their mistake. Um, and I finally said, if I have to say it one more time,
yeah,
like how many times do you need to hear this? And it's insult to injury. You're already wounded, you're already vulnerable, you're already sad,
Yeah.
and you just have to continuously say the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's painful.
It's so painful. And I think people, I mean, I have to give people grace. Most people really, unless you've gone through it, you really don't know. And not
Right.
people don't talk about it. People, there's no instruction for like, oh, when you return the license of your deceased husband to the
Yeah,
registry, there the girl behind the counter, it like has it's not like they don't have compassion. They just don't know what to do with you. Oh.
agreed. And it
Oh,
differs by province. We talked about that in one of our earlier conversations. I didn't have to do some of the things you had to do because
yeah.
in Ontario, the funeral home takes care of it. But depending on the province you're in, the rules are different.
It's wild. And we both, I know both Sue and I just send out, we hold so much space and just have empathy for where you are and wherever you are in your journey. And um our little podcast and what I really wanted to, and I'm so grateful, Sue, that you said yes, because I'm like, it's really just a conversation. Of course, I have a couple of questions, but what I'd really like you to share is just a little bit about you and Dex's life together. I mean, you were together for you were married for 40 years.
Yeah,
Very
almost together
long.
for 40. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
So
long time.
yeah. So what was could you just share a little bit about Dex and your life?
Yeah, for sure. Like I say, almost 40 years together. Uh, he passed away 10 days after our wedding anniversary in April. He was adamant he was going to be here for that, and he was. But yeah, our relationship, frankly, never should have worked. I was very young when I met him. I'm not just saying that to avoid my age right now. There's a 10-year difference between us. So he was interested till he found out how old I was, and then he ran away quickly.
Yeah.
Um, the story goes, the family folklore is that I chased him until I caught him, and that's really what happened. Um, so I was engaged at 16 and got married 6 days after I turned 18 and never ever looked back.
Oh,
Um, he was unbelievably encouraging, wanted me to become my own person, didn't want to over influence that. I mean, obviously, you can't be with somebody and not have some influence, but
oh,
decisions I needed to make about school or things like that, jobs, he's like, well, it's your decision. I'm here to support you no matter what, but it's your decision. And that was pivotal in our relationship because I think had it been any other way, it wouldn't have worked. Lots of people said it wasn't going to work.
mm, I got that.
We didn't have an easy time of it. We worked our asses off for everything we ever got or everything we ever did.
Yeah.
And I love that. If I could change it, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
To me, it makes it that much more of a bond, that much more special when you go through all those obstacles together and come out the other side. He
Yeah.
was my best friend.
Mm.
He was the best dad and the best papa.
Yes. Oh my gosh. He
Yeah.
was a beautiful human being, and I just thank you for sharing just a little bit of your story. Dex, like I've gotten to know him through you, and
Yeah.
our husbands, I know, would be really good friends. I
Yeah.
feel like
Those two would be a force to reckon with, I think.
yeah, yeah, and I think like with the like even the music and stuff, like we're both like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, seriously. And Dex was there was something about his smile and his eyes.
Yeah.
I think just from my perspective, when he looked at you, you knew you were seen. And
A
he was
hundred
very,
percent.
very present in the conversation. And like you said, he was your biggest supporter. Can you
Yeah.
share? One of the favorite things that you and Dex did together, like on the regular, like just a normal, like what was something that you guys did together that
Mm,
you're like, oh man, I miss that so much. I mean, I know it's probably everything, but something,
yes. Take it down to just one.
all on that
We
stand.
were in. we were inseparable. So we both worked crazy jobs. He had a very physical job. Um, and I was on the road a lot years ago. So when we were together, and we were together, so we did everything together. We did groceries together, we ran errands together. And one of the things I found most difficult after he passed, among a million other things, was grocery shopping. Like it was such a simple thing. But literally, I can't count the number of times I walked through grocery stores with tears streaming down my face because I saw the beef jerky he liked or the pork chops he liked. And it was a daunting experience. And of course, the kids, offered, we'll go get the groceries. I'm like, I got to do this. Like, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Um, but one of the things I truly miss, again, going back to things weren't always easy and money wasn't always around. One of the things we always tried to do was carve out time to go for a coffee.
Yes.
And we would find a spot in the city we lived in at the time, and it would be our spot, and we would just sit and talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes listen to music, sometimes not. And I still go to our spot and I still bring him his coffee. I
Oh,
can't drink it. It's disgusting. I mean, who drinks a triple triple? But he
oh, that
did.
was a double double. So yeah.
Mine's double double, but his was triple triple. But I sit there and I think of him and I listen to music, and sometimes I bawl my eyes out, and other times I'm okay. But
I
it's our spot.
I was so hoping that was the moment I wanted you to share. Selfishly, because I love that. I love that so much. And when we did, remember we did our first, I think it was an IG, like we sat and we
Yeah,
chatted and you were in your spot. And I
yep.
was like so honored that I got to sit in that spot with you and Dex, and just get to know you better. And I love how you shared about the grocery shopping, and I know there's many people out there that can relate. And we talked about this, and I think that was one of the things that pissed you off in the beginning. You're like, I
Yeah,
don't cry, I'm not a crier. And it's like all
I'm
you
not,
no, and guess what? You are now. You are now. It's like,
apparently.
yep, it's like,
I always Yeah, I always did say the only things that can make me cry is if it's to do with my family. So,
mhm.
like my kids, my husband, my pets,
Yes.
and back in the day, my mother-in-law. She
Yeah.
had a very soft spot in my heart.
Mm.
But other than that, absolutely not.
No, and I think we all get it. I remember going through the grocery store and walking through and seeing the Oriental Party Pack, which I got him pretty much every, like not every hockey night in Canada, but
Yeah,
during playoffs, it's like, okay, on Saturday night, because playoffs they're playing all the time. But it was a huge Leafs fan, and I'm in the grocery store and I see it, and I had no preparation. I didn't know,
right.
like, you're walking and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm sad. I don't want to do this. I don't even know what I want to eat. Grocery shopping
Don't
is
want to eat.
overwhelming. Yeah, I don't want to be in here. I'm not going to cook.
Yeah.
And I think I was getting coffee cream or something. I don't know, but I lost it and I'm just like, how do I get out of here? How do I couldn't control it. So all I did was I just put my head down and carried on, tried as best I could, but it was horrible, horrible experience. It's not what you want to do in a grocery store. People
No.
don't know what to do with you.
Well, I
Um,
mean, nowadays, if you cry in the grocery store, you can blame the price of eggs. You could blame price of produce, strawberries. I need to take out a loan to buy strawberries for my granddaughter. You
oh,
could blame it on anything.
yeah, yeah. It's not like, and I see, like, I actually now am very aware of my surroundings in the grocery store, and I almost prepare my heart, but sometimes I can't. Like, it's like oh, today it's gonna feel bad. Other days, just like you said, I can go through. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Um, can you tell me what the um what early grief was like for you in the first few weeks and months? I mean, it's a
Oh,
surprise, overwhelming,
yeah.
but
Yeah. His death was quick, so he was fine, and then he wasn't, and he was gone in 5 weeks. So I still found myself up until very recently, I've come to this epiphany of late. I was in survival mode. I was in control mode. I was in, are the kids okay? Is the granddaughter okay? Oh my God, the pets need to be fed. What bills need to be paid? Oh, my job. Like all the things I
Yep.
was consuming myself with.
Keeping
Um,
busy, distracted, all those things to cope.
yeah. And it's not a conscious thing. Part of it is reality. I
Mhm.
mean, the lights still need to be paid for, the groceries still need to be bought, the gas, the truck does not run without gas.
Yeah.
I did not run out of gas. I did remember because he always filled my tank. He always filled my tank. So, I mean, it's those little things,
Yeah.
right? And I remember the one day I was driving and I'm like, oh, should probably get gas right now.
I know. And you're more in tune because I would like I'd push it a little bit when he was live, and now it's like, you know what,
Yeah.
I better fill it up when it's half full. I
Well, because
just
you can't call them now. You
no.
can't call them now, knowing you're going to get teased, but you'll also get bailed out. So I think in the early days, it was about survival, 100%. I went back to work very quickly. Um, Not because my job was unaccommodating, actually the opposite, but in my head, I needed to establish some kind of a routine because the 5 weeks of his illness, there was no routine, doctors, nurses, prescriptions, all the things. Um, but I feel that those early weeks and months, it was all about making sure the kids were okay, the granddaughter was okay. Um, and then you lay in bed at night
Yes.
and you don't sleep
Yeah.
and you stare at the walls. And for me, my experience was he wanted to pass away at home, and we were able to do that.
Mhm.
And those images were paramount.
Yeah.
Grateful we were able to do what he wanted. I did not I considered his feelings, I considered the kids, the granddaughter, the pets. I did not once consider
Your own.
how I would be.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I 1000% relate to that. Um, I often tell people because now, I mean, after John died, I was on a fevered, like I didn't have to go back to work, but
Yeah,
I had to make sure that I learned everything there was about death and dying because I didn't
yeah,
know anything about it and I didn't want anybody to go through what we went through. And exactly it. Like I always say, to the person who is at end of life or they're even thinking about it, I always say, think about what you're asking the
yeah,
people that you love. Because I know John did not, his intent was when he asked me, he said, all I want is to be at home and for you to hold my hand.
yeah,
Like I'm a literal person. So I
yeah,
did not leave him. I did not sleep. I did not stop Dougie. I did not do any of that. And I I know that wasn't his intention, and I think like think about what you're saying to people so that there's I can say, okay, I really do want you to hold my hand. I understand that could be challenging. And I mean, it didn't matter to me. I didn't care if I slept because I couldn't sleep anyway. But
yeah,
it's exactly what you said. Like I like for me, when it comes to end of life, and I've talked to my kids, and I guess I don't know about you, but it's a much more important topic now. I really want them to know what I want. If
yeah.
I'm sick, if I drop dead, okay, but still, this is kind of what I want. I have things in place, but I just want, and they're like, I don't want to talk about it, Mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but we need to talk about it. And I think that my I've kind of backed off. I have everything written down. So if something happens, they can find it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because
I
it
think it's interesting that we both had that same experience with them passing at home. And I feel that as moms, we always have a tendency to put ourselves last,
yeah,
right? We
oh
always have a, there's only four pork chops, but there's five kids. Well, that's fine. I'll eat toast, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, I
you,
don't do
you
that.
just you don't think about it. It's just second nature. Um, So when it came down to the reality of him being gone and me in the room, in the bed, and
Mm-mm.
that imagery, it was intense. So I tried different things to cope with that and to try and rewire my brain. Naive. But I moved the bed around and then I did get rid of the bed. I got a new bed.
Yeah,
Um, I've recently redone my room and painted and different
beautiful.
furniture and whatever. It's not that imagery now. So a year and a bit in, I can honestly say, yes, I can have moments where I can lay in bed and it'll play, but I
Yeah.
can shut it off.
Hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we're done thinking about that right now.
Well, I think that, yeah, like you said, I think in the early days, weeks, months, year, um, it is a hard thing to turn off. Like you close your eyes, and
Yeah,
if you're with them, that's like I can draw upon that memory, Sue. Like
yeah.
it's easy. I don't have to go, oh, what happened? It's like,
No, it's
yeah,
there,
yeah.
right here.
Yeah, and it's very painful. And I get what you're saying. And you're like, when the noise is all quiet and you're
Yeah,
up in your room, and John John died in the dining room, and I know Dex was
yeah,
in your room, in your bed.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I still had trouble in our room, and he wasn't
I
even
know.
up there. But the dining room, well, I changed it. You know, I've changed everything.
Yeah,
That was my way of coping.
yeah,
Change it all. But yeah, it's I what I tried to do, and I think it's easier once you adjust to the weight of your grief, but it's easier to reframe it when you've spent a lot of time with it. Like
yeah.
I kind of talked myself into, it's like, okay, what did he did way more than die. Could I just draw upon, like, how about I think about when we sat in the truck and talked, or how about I
Yeah.
think about when we take Wendell for a walk? And how about I think
Don't
about,
use that word right now.
I know, how about, oh, Wendell's just sleeping. How about I think draw upon when I said, John, I really want to get a corgi, and he said, don't be ridiculous. You were right. Don't be ridiculous. But I don't regret it. Sometimes I do. Like,
Yeah. Well, and talk about regrets. As much as it's painful and the imagery can come back and bite you in the ass when you least expect it. Um, I don't regret it, and I'm grateful that we could honor his wishes.
yeah,
His mom was the same way, and I made sure we could honor her wishes as well.
yes,
Because, loved Dex, but he was not okay when we were losing his mom. So it fell on me then.
yeah,
And that's fine because I would have done anything for that woman. Um, but I think people don't quite realize that, you may be back to work, you might be traveling, you might be out and about in a social thing, but it's still right there.
yeah,
And you just get the best analogy you ever gave me in those early days was the backpack.
yeah,
And I have referred to the backpack. I've shared it with my kids. They resonate with it as well.
yeah,
But that backpack, some days it's the Rock of Gibraltar, and other days it's a few pebbles from the beach. But
yeah.
most of the time, it's pretty full.
Yeah, and
But
I think you adjust. There are days, like you said, you adjust to the weight of it, and other days you can't get up. You can't hoist the heaviness of it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's a one hell of an analogy that really fits.
Oh, I'm glad.
Um,
It fit for me too, because I was like,
yeah,
what is wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with us.
no,
This is
there
our
isn't.
natural response to a significant emotional loss. And what would be more significant than losing the love of your life?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, did you ever feel pressure? to like move on or be strong? And like, how do you respond to that?
Mm. I don't feel pressure from family or friends to move on. I think I put more pressure on myself to be strong, but
Mm.
that's my MO anyways, so why would this be any different?
Yeah,
Um,
it is part of your character. You are
it
strong
is.
by nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I don't think it's outside forces as much as it's inside of me.
Yeah.
As
Um,
far as the moving on goes, though, I don't know what that looks like.
and
We'll see.
I think that I like to reframe a lot of things in grief. And I'm like, I don't think it's like we move forward. There's all sorts of terminologies because we're
Yeah.
always bringing them with us. Um, I call it moving with. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
moving on, I'm moving with. But has your identity shifted at all since Dex died?
Oh
Did you?
God, yeah. 100%. Like full vulnerability here, my friend. I have no idea who the hell I am now.
Mm,
I really don't.
yeah.
Um, I'll figure it out,
Mm.
but I have no idea.
And isn't it interesting that someone who other people I know, it's not just me, look
Yeah,
at and go, how, what? She's like this strong, independent woman, which I know. You were two parts, two halves of a whole, but two individuals who worked really hard, were not attached at the hip when you were
yeah,
working, but you were together. And that's exactly it. I feel I'm forever evolving. And one
yeah,
of the things that how I kind of wrap this up for myself in trying to find myself is like, you know what? I'm not lost. My world has the bottom fell out. I am
yeah,
just trying to find my footing. I was an independent woman. My husband died. I lost a lot of confidence. I lost a lot of trust. I lost a lot of trust in myself. I felt very unsure of making decisions when I could make decisions easily before. But I
yeah.
realized I'm like, I'm still in here. I'm wounded. I won't ever be fully her because I can't go back there.
Agreed.
She was attached and in love with, and I still am in love with, but a physical being. I got to hold his hand. So it's a shift, but we're still in there. And I think what I'm trying to say in a long-winded way is that I stopped trying to find her. It's kind of like you were saying. It's like, you know what it is right now. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
doing the things, and you're in there and you're making decisions and you're being strong and you're being vulnerable and you're being real. I think what grief does is it pulls all the facade off. Like our give a fuck factor for the small little things. I don't know
gone,
about you, but I'm like, you know what?
gone.
I don't I don't need that in my life, or I'm not gonna sweat the small stuff. And I'm going to keep people that matter to me close,
Close.
and the other
Yeah,
people will be on the periphery. I don't need a lot of people in my life.
yeah. I don't have a ton of people in my life either, never did. Dex and I were very protective of um our kids. Both of us had interesting childhoods. Um, and extended family was not a healthy option.
Right.
So we were extremely protective of our kids, and so our circle was always very small. Um, and I don't regret that either, but it was what it was, and still is what it is.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the truth is, for me, I've used the term recently, lost.
Mm, that's a good term. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm also not putting a huge amount of pressure on myself either. It doesn't have a time like, what I'm typically do with my work world. It doesn't have a timeline. I don't have a project plan. It is what it's going to be when it's going to be. Um, but I do miss her,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
know I won't be her again.
oh my gosh. I have I think, I don't know if it's a luxury or if it's a blessing or a curse. I can look back at her.
Yeah.
And through all of my like Instagram posts, and my heart breaks. And I was like, wow, I I didn't see her coming. I didn't
Yeah.
see, because I know I am different, but
Oh yeah.
I think I'm more myself. The all that, like, and I mean, if we have regrets or anything like that, it's like sometimes I'm like, oh man, John, if you could see me now, like if you could,
Yeah.
and with that, I want to say, have you had any moments where you felt any kind of like signs from Dex?
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, I never used to believe in this stuff, but man, there's just some things you can't explain.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was still struggle with is sleep. I mean, apparently it has come to my attention that you can go months without a decent night's sleep and still function.
Years,
Um,
actually. Yep. Yep. Yep.
yeah, right. Well, we're in the months, so I guess we're in the year now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I used to love sleep. Damn it.
Oh,
Um, but anyways, yeah, one of the things I was really struggling with was at night, like to try and get to sleep. And one of the things Dex did for me for years is he would go full on Clark Griswold at Christmas, and he would put Christmas lights up around the entire perimeter of the house, two-story farmhouse, like it didn't matter, because he knew I loved laying in bed at night looking at the lights and it would put me to sleep. So I'm like scrolling on Amazon, let's do some shopping, shall we? And I came across these battery operated candles. And I'm like, perfect, because obviously I don't want to leave a lit candle burning overnight.
yep.
So I bought these $40 candles and stuck the batteries in it. And they have an on, an off, a 4 hour or an 8 hour timer on them. So I just put them on a 4 hour timer, and every single night since they come on at the same time every night. Now with the time change, it's an hour later. Way to go, time change. But it blows my mind. So then it became a source of comfort. And the kids would, peek in my door to see if the candles were on before I went to bed at night. And it just gave us all just a sense of calm.
Yeah.
And then the batteries died, and I thought, oh God, I'm like, I don't want to change the batteries. Like, what if they don't come on? And it
Yeah.
seems silly unless you've walked this walk, in which case it is totally not silly.
No.
Um, so we sat on the edge of my bed and I put fresh batteries in it and I just left it. Um, and sure enough, they come on every night. So it's been almost a year that these candles have been doing this nightly glow in my room, and I love it.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I have to share with you, there's that story that I share about, yes, at least they're not barking at me. About the crow and the coyote.
Yes,
And
yes.
I really struggled with, what was John the coyote or was he the crow? Because I'm like, I'm not sure. Well, on this trip, I was driving from a Soyuz to, Penticton, 6:30 in the morning. And I don't, like, it's bad. I don't see wildlife. Like, John would point something out and I'd be like, where? Anyway, this would have been hard to miss. This beautiful coyote is on the side of the road, but he's leaning up against, he's got his paws up on the rock, and he's looking directly at me, and he was gorgeous. Like, he was like, I'm like, wow, this is a healthy, doesn't look like an Alberta coyote. He wasn't a wolf. And I I was like, I
Maybe
felt
he is the coyote.
I felt like it was him. And I don't think, like, of course, the crow screaming and making me turn around and I see the coyote. Well, of course, I get afraid. Well, when if I unpack it a little bit, I mean, John was pretty, his humor was pretty good. So I feel
Yeah.
like he would have been the coyote to say, "See, you shouldn't be out this early. I told you, like it can be dangerous." I don't.
Or or was he saying, "Hey, Kathie, I'm really proud of you. I know you did a bunch of things on this trip that you wouldn't have normally have
Oh,
done."
yes. Oh, I meant like when I saw him and there was the crow. I think like
Oh,
yeah. Oh no, I really felt like it was him. And I got like when I was driving and I realized that we had been there before, I got very emotional. And it's you're doing
sure.
these twisting roads and everything. Hopefully you guys can hear me because of my animals. The twisting roads and
Yeah.
music kept coming on from our era. And I'm like, I didn't set the radio. Dougie, be quiet.
Yeah.
I didn't set the radio. But it was, so I'm crying and
Hmm.
driving these twisty roads. And I'm like, this is not safe. But I got there, but it was very emotional. And yeah, like you think, oh my gosh, I'm 2 and a bit years in. I should be fine by now. There's no such
Should
thing
be.
as, yeah, there's no such, stop shitting ourselves. There's no such thing as being fine. It's like we can be okay, we can be not okay, we can be all the things. It's like we're feeling human beings, grieving wives. That's basically what I like to say is I will always be his wife and I'm
Yeah,
grieving the fact that he's not beside me. Um, and I just, yeah, I love the story of the candles because it's so, well, it lines up with him so much and that
it
comfort
does.
and peace.
It
Um,
does.
yeah, I think it's amazing. I have a couple more little questions I want to throw at you and have
Sure.
all right, what helps keep you going on hard days?
Oof. Family for sure. My girls, my granddaughter. It is really hard to be deep in emotions that are draining when you've got a 3.5-year-old bouncing around and telling you about her day and showing you her treasures. That's everything. It keeps you in the moment, it keeps you grounded, it keeps you focused on the things that are here, the people
Yes.
that are here. Friends, my sister has been amazing through all of this. She's the emotional one, which it gets funny sometimes. Um, but I think routine helps to a certain degree, although I do find there are days where I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do that. I don't want routine. I don't want a schedule. Um, but you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, and
Um,
I love that. I love that you've got like again, your granddaughter doesn't distract you. What you do is you're like, I'm in the moment. I'm
I'm
looking
present.
at what's here,
Yeah,
who's here. She's wonderful and she's a little light who loves to talk about her papa.
all
Um,
the time.
yep, and it's like, children teach us so much about grief. They're not hiding it.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
They
Um,
are, and no matter what age they are, I've learned different things from each of my girls. I mean, one's pushing 30 this year.
so my
The other
youngest is
one's
40.
right, and the other one's 37, and each of them have dealt with their grief very differently.
Mhm.
Um, both experienced the exact same event, but we've talked about how we were all in the same event, but we all felt it very differently.
Because the
Um,
relationship,
the relationship, you're mourning a different person.
yep,
Um, so yeah, it's been amazing having conversations with them, but they do help keep things light. Um, but they're also there when you need them too, and I hope I am for them.
yes.
Um, I've got a soon-to-be son-in-law that has a lovely sense of humor that has a tendency to, get me right when I need him to, which is good. Keeps
Oh,
me on my toes.
well, you have a wonderful family, and I one of the things, and yeah, that is, I think when we have people that we can trust and we can lean on and they can lean on
Yeah.
us. And we're not gonna, I mean, grieving people, like you said, with your daughters, each one
Mhm.
lost. You all were, yeah, you were all there, same event, completely different, unique experience. And it's like holding space for your children. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like how, that the mother instinct, parental instinct of like, I just don't want them to feel bad. And
Yeah.
one of the things that, and I'm like, nope, I can't fix this. I'm just going to let them be who they are and deal with it how they deal with it and listen to them, when they want to talk about it. But it's so hard to watch your kids grieve.
Ugh. It
And
is as painful,
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
as losing him.
yeah. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
as painful. It's, and they're in different stages. Jackie's got Lena, and Lena had time with Papa, and she's got videos and memories, and her first ice cream, her first steps.
Yeah.
And Carrie's grieving not only the loss of her dad, but the realization that, he won't be there for her wedding. He won't be there to meet her children. She won't have the videos. And then you've got the oldest one feeling guilty that she has those memories that her
Yeah.
sister won't have. And the
Oh,
sister saying, don't feel bad for that because, I mean, it's not in your control.
but
Um,
yeah, you can't fix that. And it's like, yeah, those lost, like the future. And I want
yeah,
to touch on, okay, so you just had the first anniversary.
yeah.
How did you guys navigate that as a
We talked about it a few times leading up to it. All of us were dreading it for obvious reasons and different reasons. And we talked about it as a family and decided, you know what? We need to honor him. We can't not honor him.
Mhm.
So do we feel comfortable with this? So we came up with going out for a really nice dinner and having drinks and toasting him at the table. And then we came back and sat around the fire pit, which was a very special place for our family that we did not sit around last year. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So we did, and we bought his beer, which I don't particularly care for, but I gagged it back in his memory, and we popped one for him and a picture of him and sat by the fire and listened to music, his music. Um, we all wrote a letter and
Oh,
sealed it
mhm.
and um,
I love
set
that.
it on fire and put it in his crab pot. He was a big fan of seafood, so we have a big crab
Oh,
pot.
John was a big
And
sweet person. Yep. Oh man.
he was from down east. I think it was in his veins, but it was a nice way to honor him. Yeah, it was. We welcomed someone new into the fold too that he would have loved to have met that night. So it was a really nice way to honor him without it being overwhelming. And I think if
That's
I
beautiful.
like I'm in a position to give advice, but if I was,
Yeah.
I would say don't overthink it, follow your heart, and be prepared to change plans. And I made that really clear to the kids that we've made this plan, but if at any point you're the day of the moment of
Yep.
you're not up for it, say so. Put your hand up.
I love that because I was going to ask you what's one thing you want to leave people with, and I think that is like a beautiful bit of wisdom. Like, of course, we all will walk. Like, if you are alive, if you are over 2 years old, you're going to experience loss, and it
Yeah.
will actually affect you. You'll be able to express it. And it's like, how do we navigate? You have experience. It's not like we're giving people a roadmap because it's different for everybody, but I love that. It's like, don't overthink it and be prepared to change plans because your heart is this is the first of many things. And yeah, I love your advice is absolutely wonderful and very appreciated. Last question. What gives you hope these days?
Oh, really? You're asking me this right after a federal election?
Oh,
I'm teasing. Let's not go
Yes.
there.
Okay, let's not go there.
No.
That's
I
another
think
tangent.
yeah, what gives me hope is watching the girls continue to cope because let's face it, they're going to eventually deal with my death.
Oh my gosh.
And watching how close they are and how much they're
Hmm.
connected
Yeah.
means everything to me because I know eventually that's who they're really going to lean on when
Yes.
I go.
Yes. Well,
Um,
that is so valid. When you're saying that, I'm like, it's not that I want to back away or not be in the picture, but it's so beautiful to see them leaning on each other.
they need to. They
Hmm.
need to, and they've always been close, which is a gift in itself. But it gives me hope seeing how the memories are staying alive about Dex. So Lena talking about her and the girls talking about her and family and friends talking about him. It gives me hope that it continues
Yes.
long after I'm here. And those stories and those memories are going to continue to be shared for a long, long time.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
legacy.
gives me hope.
Yeah, it's legacy. It's like what lives on are our memories and us saying their names and sharing stories and sitting with people and sitting at the fire pit and inviting a new person into the fold and just continuing to say his name, to share his stories, that he lives on through that. It's like when we
He
don't
does.
talk about them, what? And
Yeah.
I just stop it, Dougie. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for spending time with me, for sharing your heart, for being open and honest and vulnerable and sharing decks with us. And I just love this friendship. I'm if I could have picked a way of us meeting, it wouldn't have been this way.
Agreed.
We would have met on a vacation with our husbands, and we would be going on vacations annually.
Mhm.
But we are friends, and I cherish it. And your wisdom and your insight and your honesty, it's so refreshing. And I love you, and I'm so appreciative that we are friends. So thank you for being the first of many.
Thank you. I appreciate everything and your friendship, your wisdom, and your sense of humor. It's been extremely helpful. But yeah, I'm really glad. Crappy circumstance, but I am really glad we met.
Me too. So, you guys, this is going to be on all your favorite podcast platforms. Tune in, listen, and there will be more to come. So, thank you for tuning in. Oh, did I not record it?